All right, one more song and then we're good. How about this one? Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that one. Not going to lie. Not a huge fan of that. All right. Let's do this. Drop this down. Get rid of that. Bond. Let the bonding begin. And we are bonding. We're bonding. We are not bonding. Hold on. We're going to bond. Give me 1 second. What the heck is that? Whoa, that's a lot of bonding. That's a lot of bonding. Hold on. Where's that? Let's get rid of that nonsense. It's too much bonding. Boop, boop, boop. There you go. That's the right amount of bonding that I'm comfortable with. Let's move that over here. Drop this bad boy over that side. Bring this sucker down. And rock and roll. All right, good. Good morning, everybody. 8:20. Jesus. Do I have a mic? The mic on? We got a mic. We got a mic. There's no song. No mic. Not as much bonding. We're bonding. We're bonding. You got a mic? Hold on. Let me test the mic. Now you got me thinking. Set the mic. I'll test the mic. Tell me. Tell me. Speakers on. It's working. You guys are crazy. Absolute nonsense. Let's go through a couple things. Most important thing is understand what the week means. And what do I mean by what the week means? What's that? What happened there? Why is that up there now? How do I get rid of that? There it is. All right. What's going on? What's going on with the week? Let's start here. I think you have to understand that you're going to have light volume, and you're going to have light volume for a couple reasons, right? We saw it yesterday. I didn't think it would happen that fast, but the reason that you have light volume is that you have a short work week, and you also have data that's coming out, and we don't know when the data is coming, right? Like we can't trade on that data till Monday. So by the way, we have a really important number that's coming out. It's the one that the Fed watches the most. And oh yeah, the market's not going to be open that day. It's exhausting, really. It's like, I don't know, I'll clean up my language, but it's really weird that they would do that. So it's going to put people in a very awkward position. And also it's going to make options not really crazy for Thursday. Next week's options will be pretty crazy because people are going to have to hedge over the weekend. Now, we're going to have to deal with the slurping, but I am definitely more awake today. Got more than 2 hours, so that's good. I think that if we take a look at what's going on and how this is going to play out, I bought this last night, right? I bought this last night. I sold at 7 o'clock this morning already. And I think that if you're looking at these names, like the MicroStrategies and the coin, I don't know why it's going over there, and the coin, these names, these should be your focal point if you're playing the Bitcoin stuff. I think it's very unrealistic that Bitcoin is not very active over this holiday weekend. Because it's going to be the only thing that you're really going to have access to trade on PCE. The majority of people don't trade bonds after hours or don't trade the Asian markets. Like if I tell somebody, oh, well, you could trade, Japan's bonds based upon this, they're going to be like, okay, thanks, dude. Like they're not going to have access. Like that's not going to work for them, right? So, pardon me, what are you going to have access to on PCE on Friday? You got Bitcoin, you got Ethereum, you got Solana, you have all these wacky, like all these, I mean, they're not as bad as the NFTs people, but you get where I'm going with this, right? So that's all you're going to have to trade off of. So if you think about that, then that's what you should be focused on, right? Like that's the only vehicle to have. So like, let's say you think PCE is going to be good and lower. Okay, well, Bitcoin's probably not going to do too well on that, right? Bitcoin's acting as an inflationary hedge. We're all talking about it's because of the ETFs. It's this, it's that. We can debate why, but if we go here and take a look at Bitcoin yesterday, we'll flip it to here. All right, and let's get rid of all my lines and all my nonsense, okay? And let's just go talk about what happened right around from 1 o'clock on, right after that market, and then look at what happened towards the end of the day, all right? So if we start looking at this right around these bond markets, I'm starting to see buying, and hold on, that's the wrong one that I wanted to point out. Give me this for a second. Let me drop this to a 5. This thing always throws me off. I was wondering why the chart looked completely different than what I anticipated. So give me a second here. I'll mark this off properly. That's not right. So there is the flip right there, and that's going to take you into Monday, and let's mark off the times. Right there's the bond market. All right. So the bond market comes out there 1 o'clock. And from then on, all you did was rip. Now you were moving ahead of that anyway, right? But here is the other bond auction. So when you start to look at this, I think they're playing this as the inflationary hedge. And what people are saying is, well, why, if the bond market is weak, is Bitcoin going higher? Right? These were the two bond auctions yesterday. So why, if Bitcoin is weak, is the market going higher, or is this Bitcoin going higher? That's their inflationary hedge. They're doing this more than they're doing gold, more than they're doing anything. I would pay attention to this, and I pay attention to it for that reason. This had every reason the other day to drop. and it didn't, right? It could have easily had dropped and it didn't drop. And I think that that is something that you have to pay attention to. I can have all my beliefs that it cracked the 22, which it did, but it rallied back up, kind of encapsulated the bar, retested the 12. I used a 12, a 22, and a 55. You should use what you're comfortable with. Rolls back over, gives me the doji, flips the doji, stops at the 12, 22 cross. Surely you're going to roll there, or you have to watch how it plays out. And it made a decision. It said, we're going higher. Okay, so that decision's been made. Now, if you want to talk about other decisions that were made with Bitcoin, and I think that this is important to note, look at that close. Right? You've only had 4 other closes that were that high. You really haven't had anything else up here that's even remotely close to those types of closes. So if we take a look at this, here, drop this to a plane. We'll get rid of that for a moment. And then we'll just drop a straight line from the top of this. Let's hit the magnet so we know it's perfect. Okay, so there's the magnet right from there. Get the magnet off and just drop to that line right here and zip in. All right, and hits, rejects, goes higher, rejection, 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 and then it flips. Okay, so does this become support? I don't have a clue. I know looking at that and thinking that it's just automatically going to roll over after it's back over it is probably not the way to go, right? So if we are to look at this and understand where you're going, I would be paying attention to the MSTR going into this weekend. I don't know if you want to, how involved you want to get, how much risk you want to take. It's up 100 or 200 or down 100 or 200. So, you're taking risk with it. Trading it yesterday it's absolutely brutal. I mean, you buy it and then it's down $20. So the moment you buy it, you're out of position like $20. So it's not for the faint of heart. I've told people that to stop trying to do it, and just do, you just focus on coin, which is acting very similar. If you take a look here, you start looking at the numbers and here's your dojis, right? And it's acting very different. Both of those are acting very, very different than the Maras and the Riots of the world, right? Very, very different. So, CLSK is acting a little bit cleaner to it, but not anywhere near how coin's acting or how MSTR is acting. And, I have my belief as to why that is, but it is what it is. So keep that in mind. And that's where my focal point would be. All right. So let's go and keep rocking and rolling here. A couple things to go over. Tesla, doing Tesla things. I don't know what he said. Maybe he said something. We're going to do more robots. I'm going to come out with Cybertruck 7, or who knows what he's doing now. Anyway, something came out and then the stock just exploded out of, Asia. It's never looked back. And, if you bought right around that 7 o'clock, you always want to see that 7 o'clock level and to see, hey, how they do if they bought at 7, right? And so here's that 7 o'clock buy area on that first bar. And are they up or are they down? And they're fighting for their lives right now. So that tells you where they are. And then at the same point, you can just kind of see where Asia is. Never really hurts to just kind of drop a VWAP and just see what's going on there, right? And that's not a coincidence, is it? Everybody's just trying to fight that level right now. So I always find that helpful. It's obviously going to be very different than, if you include the post data. But anyway, so this is definitely something that I'd be paying attention to today. I think you could crack there. But other news that's out there right now floating around, VKTX. Everyone's getting giddy about this news. The data lately is just so bad on TradingView. It's just so awful. But if you take a look at VKTX, yeah, it was an okay study. It's a phase 1 study. It's not the same study as the other study, right? It's this phase 1 study, which means what, like 14 people? It could be as low as something like that. So I don't know how many people the study was. I didn't read it. I'd be real careful about getting super giddy on this, like real careful about getting super giddy on those kinds of things. STOK had data, and these are the kinds of names I always watch a little bit, because you have these gaps and you're over it now, but this thing was like left for dead, right? So whenever you have names like this that are left for dead, this kind of stuff, and then they have good data, there are people that are just perma-short it, and now they have a problem. they're waiting for it to go to zero, and maybe it does go to zero, but it looks like they're going to get squeezed off the open. So I would pay attention to that very, very closely. It's definitely something I pay attention to. NVIDIA closed at 950, and now they're saying we're going to open $10 higher. I wouldn't sleep on this today. SMCI, again, I wouldn't sleep on these. The ones that you're watching that are opening up and continuing to move and are flipping levels again, they're your focal point, right? Not buying. Don't look in this market and think you want to be buying the beaten down ones. It's not going to work that way. Like, look at Lulu. Like, that's going to fall off a cliff. That's just a question of when that's going to fall off a cliff. But Lulu's heading much lower. I mean, you're probably going to be down here, probably going to get to that level and fall off a cliff. So you really want to watch this kind of stuff. NCLH, these kinds of names all fell off because of CCL yesterday having that accident, and we'll go from there. But I wouldn't sleep on that. If the names are moving, stay with the names that are moving. If you're watching like Nike and you're going to play the bounce, that's not really working. I tried it with Adobe. It's not really working the same thing. Like, I was looking for the gap fill. We didn't get it. But what is working are the names that beat and exceeded expectations. You look yesterday on Micron and just the move, 110 to 121. That's really hard to think that that's just going to go away, right? But that doesn't mean that you're just not going to bounce around. And that's exactly what's going to happen there. You're just going to bounce around. So we'll see how that goes. But that, to me, looks like you're just going to keep, whacking around a lot in there. And we'll see how that plays out. But that's kind of where my head is with it. All right. So that's one school of thought. Again, I think you're going to have late volume. I do think you should pay attention to the XLY a little bit, because you're struggling here a little bit. Now we're seeing Amazon start to move. So they are buying those kinds of names. We're seeing some bottom fishing in Costco, supposedly, but are we? Are we really? I mean, we're starting to see it have a real hard time here with that 12 and 22. I use a 12 and 22, 55. You should use what you're comfortable with. But, even Walmart's starting to have some cracks, isn't it? So even something like that, even something like that, I would watch. I would watch that and just see how it goes. It wouldn't be something that, it wouldn't be something I'd be rushing into here. I'm trying to figure out the right way to say this. Like, you want to look for the ones that are beaten down, but that are beating numbers, right? Like Target beat again, right? That's why people are getting involved with it. If I clean all this off and you take a look at this, like here, like there's a reason, right, that people are hoping that it's going to break that level, right? It probably does. It probably does gap fill. It may not do it until next quarter's earnings, but you probably are going to do that. Like, as soon as this beat earnings here, that was it. You never looked back. I mean, you're up $50 from there. Like, it never looked back from there, ever. I don't even know if you ever broke. Yeah, you did break the 22. So you probably would have, even if you're using the 22 as a line or a demarcation line, you did break that. So you probably would have gotten out there on that trade, 138 to 129. You're still up 10. That's kind of how I look at it. You still made money. It's really hard to look at that and not want to be involved with it, right? When it breaks out like that, either 125 to 129, but you still had a great day there. And maybe when you flipped back over, you could say, oh, well, we broke the higher high. I'll get involved again. That's one way to have played it, I guess. I still like this name if I was to look at those kinds of names. So I do think that you want to pay attention to those. But like the ones that miss and then rally and then they go back to those levels like ON, do you really want to play with those? I don't think you do. Starbucks can't get out of its own way. Disney, Disney probably does go higher because the board's going to turn on that dude. That's becoming really clear on Iger. Like, that's definitely coming. You can say it. Even the institutions that support the ISS, that they even came out and said that institutions should vote with pelts, which was really fascinating to me that they said that, quite frankly. I was kind of shocked by that. Usually they're pretty status quo. And they said that, yeah, you got to get new management in there. You got to get the board of directors. You got to shake that thing up. So I was surprised by that. So this probably does have legs now. So that's really the big things for me that I'd want to cover. What time is it? Oh, we got plenty of time. So let's get to it. What's up, Riesh? Ralph Lauren. Yep. My problem here, let's go to a bear chart. I'd be careful. You don't have a formal double top yet, because you have to make the lower low for the formal double top, which is right here. I'd be careful. I really like the name, but I would be really careful here, right? I see it. I would just be careful. It's a second rejection. Now, you don't have the technical rejection bridge till you break that low. Then you have a technical rejection. But I'd be careful there. What's up, Cam? I saw this. Yeah, I think there's something to it. Yeah. And that, by definition, you see it right there? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm waiting for. You walk through the whole bar. Like, you walk through the whole bar on that news. So, yeah, I'm on the same path as that. You're probably going to do this. You're probably going to gap fill. So I say it, and I do think there's something to that. I do. It's a pretty straightforward short, candidly. I'll pop them in. So that was yesterday. It's really hard to look at this and not think that that's going lower. So, yeah, I mean, you could absolutely think that that's going to head lower. I don't see how it doesn't, candidly. So, for me, it would be like, if I was going to do that, I'd probably do it with puts, because it's going to be low beta. You might even want to do it with a debit spread, but, there's a couple different ways I would do that, Cam. I might even sell calls naked to pay for the puts, because you're just going to bleed. Like, it's very clear it's not going higher, right? So, and this was a bad quarter. I mean, I feel the same way about Lulu when I look at it, like that's not going higher. Like, it's just very clearly not going higher, but same thing there. I mean, you could do the same kind of trade there where, you buy stock, or you buy puts and then you sell stock to pay for it, right? To eat up some of the theta and time value. But I like that a lot. Bridge, I'd be careful with Ralph Lauren. Do you see why, Bridge? Like, see all the other names we're looking at? If I wanted to play that space, brother, this is kind of like where my head is with it, right? Like, I don't know why Europe is so hot. I went over it last night, but Europe's like hot. Like, look at Ferrari. This is one that we're in, right? Well, you know this. But look at Hermes. Like, they do have like really cool ties. I don't really wear ties too much anymore. Maybe I'll go back, start wearing ties. Bring back ties. Louis Vuitton, these kinds of names. Like, this is the space that I would be in right now. Like, this is kind of where my head goes with it. Right? There was even that thing that someone brought up, was it KVLY? KLVY? I don't know. I'll find it. I have it in here somewhere. XLY. Is that it? I don't know. It's like ultra luxury. I don't see it. I'll find it. Anyway, it's definitely something that I'd pay attention to, but these are the names I'd be focused on the long side. I like that as a short. Yeah, I think the wheat stocks are a hoax. I think the wheat stocks are a hoax to try to get the plebes to vote for them. So I was playing around with it, and then it kind of like hit me one day, and I'm like, we're just being set up. They have no intent of doing anything. They have absolutely no intention of doing anything. It's just a way to get you to vote for them in November. That's all. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's just I hate to be that cynical about it, but that's all it is. They don't have anything else to stand on, right? Like there's literally nothing that they've done. So they need something, right? So that's what they're going to give us. They're going to say, oh, we're going to do it this time. We know we've came in 3.5 years ago, but now we're really going to do something. No different what side of the aisle. But I was going to buy IPR, and then I'm like, I'd rather pay up when they actually do it, because I don't think they have a shot in the world of doing it. I really don't. They're just going to dangle the carrot. That's all. So, I mean, MSOS, all those names, I mean, the real money's probably on the short side, if you want my opinion. When I really started to think about it and like put on my cynical hat, the money's going to be made on the short side. It's going to be the people that like are like bah humbug. These things are going to go lower. I mean, you can already see like MSOX is already breaking the 55. I mean, let's be realistic about it. If this was going to happen, we would have seen Pelosi start buying pot stocks. I mean, why not? She does it. She does it before every bill that got passed on any of these semiconductors. She's not going to do it on pot names. She is. There's no reason not to. I mean, there's nothing wrong. It's not illegal. So there's no rule saying she can't. So why wouldn't she? I mean, she'd be the person that would get it done, right? To some extent. So you would see that happening, and you're not seeing any of that. So all the pot names I would be on the short side of the more I think about it. I know it sounds callous, but I think I'm right there. MU, there's very little to do except own the name. I mean, there's very, very little to do here, in my opinion. Like very little to do. So I got flim-flammed, but I got back in. The undercut here, I was afraid of the gap fill. I got out, got back in. Very little for me to do with this. It probably just bases in here now and builds, and it's gonna be really hard to break that bar, man. Like that's a really tough bar to break now. Like here, let me get rid of this. But that's like super tough to like see all that volume. Like that just doesn't go away, especially on a day like yesterday. Because like, look, like just let's look in comparison. Like, did you see that kind of buying? This is NVIDIA for those that can't say it. Did you see that kind of buying in NVIDIA? Did you see that kind of buying in AMD? Did you see that kind of buying in Apple? Right? I mean, just go through the names. Like, go through your big dogs. Like, all they're doing is selling Microsoft, by the way. So you didn't really see that kind of outsized volume in anything, right? Did you see it in ARM? A little bit, didn't you? Right? So look at where you saw the outsized volume yesterday, and that's where you should focus. That's very clearly outsized volume. Somebody said, we need to buy this, and we need to be in this. And so that is very difficult for me to tell you that it's not going to continue. It's really hard to look at that and think that that won't continue. It doesn't mean you're going to buy today and it's going to go up today, but like pretty clear what's going on there now, right? 114 is your level. What's up, Bob? What's going on, John? ARM looks really good. ARM looks really good. Yeah, that's exactly what you want from a chart. I mean, it doesn't really get any clearer. I mean, you can see it. I'm sure you already saw it. DTL breaks, rallies, builds a flag, breaks out of the flag. I mean, there's very little to say there. I like that a lot. An ARM looks great. On the road. Can you tell me you have to trade? What's up, Tim? Yeah, I don't get it. Like, I mean, everyone's like so giddy with AMD, and someday they're going to make a chip, and this chip someday is going to compete. Okay. And then you sit here and go, oh, but we missed earnings, And revenue grew by 69 basis points over estimates. We grew by 3% on earnings and we beat by 1%. Like, or you could buy ARM, right? I mean, like, you know, that beat earnings and their revenues were through the roof, by the way, right? Like you start going through it and go, well, what are we doing? Like these guys crushed their numbers, raised estimates. When you really start looking at it, it's like, oh, I don't understand why you would give me that. But when you really start looking at it, it's like, are you watching the same thing that we're all watching? Like they're beating sequentially every single quarter by 10% and then doubling and then adding 10% to the next number on billions and billions of dollars. And AMD is like, oh yeah, we have this chip and we're working real hard on it. Okay. I mean, SMCI, by the way, they're like, oh, you know, we're gonna absolutely crush. Oh, remember when we said we were gonna crush? Yeah, we even beat those numbers. So like revenue's now 25% higher than what we even said it was going to be, and we beat those estimates. Like that's what's going on out there. You know, when you really look at these names, even names like Dell, right? When you watch like Dell and like, oh yeah, we beat by 27%. Like everybody wants it. We've got tons of pricing power, blah, blah, blah. They're buying the high-end stuff. Oh, okay. AMD. Well, we're working real hard on this chip. And everyone's like, oh, I got to buy AMD. It's just, it's mind-boggling to me. I don't know. I don't get it. But I don't get it, man. Yeah, I like those names. I do. I like those a lot. Is Barclays? No, I know someone that works in their research department, though. They're actually very smart people that work there. It's a very, very, very well-run bank, actually. I don't know. Maybe someone does follow us on here. Good morning. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be careful there. That has the makings of fade. What's up, Simply? What's up, Boomer? Yeah, I think, I don't know, someone's in the room hit me with this too. So here's always my issues with these kinds of names. Here's my first issue. I missed. So why do I want to buy something that missed, right? Okay, well, they got it higher. Okay, how did the street respond to that? It sold down. Okay. What do we have going on here? We have the first close over what? The doji. Okay. So you have something you could work with. You could say, you could go out there and you could make this argument, right? Luke, you could say, that's my trading range. The doji is my trading range, right? All right. I don't know what the heck just flew in my eye. So if that's your trading range, then you can go on the assumption you've got 6, 7 points there, right? By the time it gets up here, you wait, you make sure it rejects, you get hit with the flim. Speaking of, let me just see something real quick. Got a position on here, so I want to see how I'm doing. So you go, all right, and then you get hit with the flim, right? So then you lose $1 from there. So you say you make $6. All right, so what is this bar? 84 to 88. So if I'm going to map out this trade, like this is the type of stuff, this is why you should be like journaling your trades. So I'm going to make $6 here, right? And then if I'm wrong, that's the max, because you have to think that you're going to get stuck here, right? Or if you didn't get stuck there, like you had a seller here, right? That seller didn't go away, because if they went away, the stock would have gone higher. So that you know they didn't go away. So then you go here and go, okay, well, that's going to cost me $260. Call it 3 with slippage. You're at 2 to 1. Do you want to do that trade? Maybe. I don't know. I think there's better names. What's up, John? Yeah, I traded Reddit yesterday and I'm already out of it. Look, here's the thing about this. I'm just going to let's just be real honest about what this is. Okay, this is just absolute utter froth, and it has no business being here whatsoever, right? If it had any business being here, it would have priced here, right? So when you have things like this that are happening, I'm not going to tell you to not trade it. I'm just going to tell you it is what it is. Okay. And so what do I mean by that? I mean that when you look at something like this, that you have to think about it and go, well, what's really, what's really happening? I think what's happening is that you have froth and that people are like, they want to play the FOMO. And I wish them the best. I did it yesterday. I paid 58. I sold some last night, 67. And then I sold the rest today, I think at like 64. I'm out. It is what it is. It's a trade. It's 4 letters. It's 4 numbers, and I'll trade it. What you will see is this. How do you really profit from this? This is how you really profit from this. Understand that they're going to say, well, that means that I need to buy ALAB. It makes no sense whatsoever. I know. But that's what they're going to say. And that's what they did yesterday, right? So then that one's going to be in play because we have to go to this. The real money is going to be here. The long-term money is going to be understanding that IPOs are coming back, right? That's where the long-term money is going to be. And if that's the case, this Renaissance IPO, I'm pointing at the screen like you can see me pointing. Wow. Okay, Boomer. So if this is Renaissance IPO, they're going to have access to all these IPOs that you don't have access to, right? You can't get access to them. You just can't. No one's going to give you 1,000 shares of Reddit. You don't have an account like that, right? Like if you had billions of dollars at like Goldman, or you had, a really good working relationship at like JP Morgan's private client, you might get 1,000 shares or 2,000 shares of this, right? Other than that, you have to buy in the open market. IPO, they're going to get it. They're going to go to their prime broker and say, we want Reddit. We want this. We want that. And they're going to get it. They're going to get those IPOs. So I would keep that in mind. This is a great way to play that. Are you going to make the same amount of money? No, but you're going to sleep at night, not worry about it. Are you up $10 or down $10 in the morning? So something to think about. But Reddit is what it is. TPL, I'm in, John. I'm in TPL. I've sold 0. I don't know what that is. I'm in this. I think we're up $130 now in it. I've done nothing with it. I'm just sitting with it. Literally have done nothing with it. So we bought the breakout here and I've just left it alone. I figured with how things are going with oil, I mean, I don't see how you're not getting back up to that level. I really don't. I'll honor my process, but I just don't see how you're not getting there. I mean, you have this whole line right here. You probably saw this already, but I'll just draw it right across so you can see. There's the control bar. You're getting ready to flip it. And once you're through that, you're looking at 1820, another 100 points fairly quickly. AIZ, insurance, also strong. All insurance names look strong. Progressive, all of them look strong. I mean, they've got the best industry in the world, right? You don't like a market, they get out of it. We don't want to be in the housing market in Florida. We don't want to do car insurance in California. We're out. Like, what a great business. We don't want to deal with you. We're out. Like, they don't want to insure homes in California anymore, right? Because of like all the crime and stuff. Like the insurance companies, they're out. We don't want to do home insurance anymore because of the flooding in Florida. We're out. I mean, what a great business. So insurance companies have it made. You should see people trying to get insurance in Florida and California. It's absolutely crazy. BA, I think BA told you everything you need to know yesterday. I think it told you everything you need to know. One, I think there's more behind this guy resigning. I'm surprised he resigned the way that he did, with saying, I'm going to quit, but I'm going to stay for the year. He should have resigned effective immediately. I think he's going to. I think something else is coming. The way that moved yesterday was vicious. This lady downstairs does. I get the coffee at XOXO. This place in Brickell. It's really good. But, man, they don't play around with their coffee. What's up, Q? What's going on, Boomer? Yeah, well, global. I'm not going to go. I'm definitely not going to say global warming is a myth. I'm not going to say that. Greetings from Thailand. Greetings from Miami. WDC is another one. Yeah. STX too. Well, that one looks awful. Sorry, I'm sorry I compared your chart to mine. I thought STX would look decent. That does not look decent. That does look decent. Only silence. The sound of silence. Simon and Garfunkel. Hello, darkness, my old friend. It depends on the gap up, dude. It should be moving. Yeah, I mean, that's how they are. All right. We started. What's up, Andres? I don't know it's going to affect energy at all. As a matter of fact, I watched this guy today on Bloomberg, which I rarely watch the news, but I will watch Bloomberg Live in the morning just to see what's going on in the world. I watched this guy on there from Israel, like their minister, their war chief, or whatever new title, the fancy title they're giving the guy. Yeah, that's a real issue over there. We're going to just keep going. This is like, I mean, the way he's comparing it to what he's comparing it to. I'm not going to go down that road, but yeah, that's not going away, man. It's getting worse. It's only going to get worse. And what happened with Russia and Ukraine, this stuff's only going to get worse. If you put your tinfoil hat, it's almost like they're trying to make it as bad as possible. Why? For what reason? Why could it possibly? It makes no sense. There's no justification to think that. Cisco was trading, just to go through this. When Cisco was at its peak, it was trading 80 times next year's earnings. I was trading during that time. That would put NVIDIA at roughly $4,200 to put that into perspective. What's up, Sue? I don't play with that stuff. I don't trust the brokers. I did the cold storage thing. I saw that, but it's phase one, dude. It's like 7 people and a dog. It's like nothing. You know what I mean? That's what like the whole thing with phase one studies. It's like nothing. They're not, phase one studies are not big studies. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad video. I think we're gonna do a live. I'm gonna do a live stream with more bonding, where I answer questions like that. What else you got, bro? Lisa. I'm calling you bro. I'm getting destroyed. I am getting destroyed. I can only laugh. Like literally 50%. Like I'm having a good March. And in the day trading account, 50% of my losses in the month of March, 50% of them are calls and puts and micro strategies, and not even being like wrong with the moves so much as just bleeding out between the option. It got to the point where I'm like, this is silly. I'm just going to start trading stock. As soon as I started trading stock, it all turned around. But the implied vol in the options, it's just crazy. And it gives me more flexibility. Pardon me. Like this morning I came in and I was long MSTR and I bought a bunch yesterday at like 1860. I blew it out at 1930. I'd come in this morning. If I'm flat on it, I'd already have a problem. I'd already be down like 20, 30%. Thanks, John. I'm coming. We're going to wrap this up. But just avoid it. Yeah, nugget, those kinds of things. Right, exactly. And that's what it is. Don't just say they what. Yeah. Did anybody, right. Did anybody die? All right. Nobody died. Okay. Phase 2. Like, yeah. I would not be short in energy, brother. That's just me. TPL, BHVM. Yeah, this is one sector like that I don't really know that much about. It seems to me that the move is still Lilly or NVO. It seems like they have it on. I don't know what that is. It might be time for LASIK. Boomer might get LASIK. Well, I put down these. It's like dark in here for like the ambiance. I got like the green light over there, but it helps with the bonding. But man, I don't know why I can't see the darn keyboard sometimes. Actually, you know what? This keyboard's so worn out. Like some of the numbers and letters are actually gone. Probably should get another one. I would focus on these names. I don't know enough to talk that. Theta, dude. This is when people need to understand that you're better off selling. You're better off selling things. Like you're better off selling calls, selling puts. But that's a tough game. You know, I was a registered options principal for like 9 years. I know how to do that stuff. Not everyone's going to be like super comfortable, you know, like being naked calls or naked puts. You know, it depends on your time frame, dude. Like, why are you buying it? Are you buying it for a month? Or are you buying it for 10 minutes? If you're out to next quarter, I don't know why you would wait to buy it. If you're trading it to Tuesday, Wednesday, it's a different game. It doesn't look good. Oh, there it is, Kobe. Thank you. That's the Lux one. I don't know. Ricardo, I haven't seen you forever. What's going on? I think Exxon's here to stay. I think the move in Exxon is here to stay. Hope things are good. I do. I think they're going to stay here. The Gushes of the world. I like this move a lot. I was waiting for it to break out. I went a different way with it. I like these names a lot, though, like VLO, MPC. I mean, you're seeing a lot of that. You got a lot of upgrades today, MRO, target prices. So I think there's a lot to it, what's going on here. I really do. I don't think it's going. I'm telling you, I really do not think that this move's going anywhere. No, but you're going to bounce around. Because they're buying equities. Let me see what else we have here. I'm not buying AMD. I know people trade it. Yeah, there it is, XLY. Just what I want to use. You should use what you want to use. Hood's going to keep pushing. People keep equating Hood to a what do you call it, stock? Like it's a crypto name. So Hood's is probably going to keep grinding. I mean, you came down, you gap filled, and you backfilled, and you went higher. Like there's very little to say there. Yeah, it's like you can literally hear, like, watch this with the IPO. I'm going to do this real quick, and then we're going to wrap. But here, like, take this IPO, right? And then just watch this. That's what I do in my free time. Right? There's IPO and Arete. Okay? See it? Now watch. So when one starts pulling away from the other, you know it's about to happen, right? So when one starts pulling away from the other, you know that like Arete is going to catch up or IPO will catch up. That's just the way it works for whatever reason, right? When you look at those two charts. So whenever you see disparities, like you see like one not moving and it's going down, and then the other one starts moving, like you see how you dropped here and then you spiked up to here, right? And then what happened to Arete, you know what I mean? Or what happened to IPO after, then that lifts. So they, for whatever reason, they trade this way. So like, this is telling you that if you look at this chart, right, you see how you're here and then they break out and then this follows. It's the same pattern, right? So like when you see this stuff, you want to go take a look at Arete and realize that you're probably setting up for some kind of move there, right? That's just something to think about. Leave you with that. But yeah, you should look at that. What's up? What's going on, Cleo? You guys are obsessed with Planter. There's a whole market out there. You guys are like a cult. That's actually big for Krispy Kreme. That's actually a super smart move for them. I mean, that is a really smart move. I didn't see that news. I'm glad I stayed and watched that. That's a huge thing for Krispy Kreme. I mean, picture, you're now going to be in, if you have the potential to be in every McDonald's, and now you don't need a storefront, just a McDonald's storefront. That's sickly brilliant. Who doesn't like Yum Yums, right? You're in the drive-thru. Someone says you want a dozen donuts. You're going to be like, yeah. Stop. 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 The price earnings multiple of NVIDIA is not even 1. The PEG of NVIDIA is not even 1. I don't know where you're getting your information from, dude, but you should stop. Was it? Like whoever you're listening to, Etor, stop listening to them. No, I don't have to consider any of those. I don't have to consider any of those. You have to consider those if you want to. The only metric that matters is PEG. Nothing else matters. That and next 10 months, next 12 months versus PE. They're the only metrics that actually matter. You buying off of that stuff, it's silly. Yeah, like the video. What we're going to start doing is I'm going to click on you and say, Victoria, did you like the video? If not, I can't answer your question. How about that? Boom. I'd love to learn more about different option ideas. Been trying to learn a bit by bit. Get this book, Victoria, now that I'm teasing you. Where's that book? Can you see this? So start with these kinds of books. Anything by this guy? Here, you got that, Victoria? Hold on, let me shrink you down. Can you guys see that? Can you see that? Can you guys boomers see that? Options as a Strategic Investment by Macmillan. Anything by Macmillan, right? Anything by Macmillan. Okay, you want to read on options, anything. So, what time is it? Jeez, I gotta go. I'm all worked up. You got me all worked up now over this thing with you and your enterprise to sales value and your EBITDAs. You're killing me. All worked up, Etor. I hope you're happy. Selling naked has made me a lot of money. You will, but you got it right. I'll make sure that I give levels. I'll be very vocal today in the room when we're about to trade. You're killing me. After this week, the video will go down. Oh, that's good. Maybe you can tell me what the lottery numbers are going to be too. Long Razor keyboards. Now you sound like my son. I like those keyboards. What's up, Sue? All right, I got to go. You're welcome. Yeah, 4 months, dude. I can answer that. I can answer that too. 4 months. You want to get rid of the time value. It's so funny. We're going down next week. You're killing me. You're killing me, Etor. You're killing me. Watch it go down next week. All right, I got to jump. Trade to win today, guys. Remember, short week. Make good choices, as I tell my son.